Overthinkers of Reddit, what unlikely scenario actually came true that you were completely prepared for because you are an overthinker? I was once driving on the highway behind a car with a couple of kayaks strapped to the roof. My anxious brain kept saying, what if they fall off the car, Final Destination style? I tried to convince myself that it was an irrational fear, but the anxiety got the better of me and I decided to change lanes and make some distance. About 30 seconds later, cue kayaks, they both slip off the roof and go rolling around the highway. Luckily no one was hurt, but man, that did not help my anxiety at all. Edit to address some comments. 1. I figured I was overthinking since I don't know anyone else who gets nervous or avoids driving behind cars with loads, but I see now that maybe my behavior wasn't so weird. 2. Apparently a lot of you have seen falling kayaks on the highway. I don't think this is the same exact incident as any of the ones you guys have described. 3. From comments about how to properly tie down a kayak, I think these were not properly secured. I don't think they were tied to the bumpers. I definitely do the Final Destination worries thing too. Usually a big truck piled with giant logs or something. You wonder if some part of you unconsciously registered that the kayaks had been shifting some way. I've read that your body can pick up subtle signs of impending doom in various ways that can make you afraid even if you are not sure why. My roommate fits this one exactly. She passed a log truck in Wa State and less than 30 seconds later they spilled out on I-5. She talks casually about it like it couldn't have killed her. Edit, yay did they. Injuring my dominant hand. As a kid I had an irrational fear of having it chopped off. I spent all of grade 6 teaching myself to write and do things with my left hand. I made a conscious effort to remain as ambidextrous as possible. As an adult I broke a few fingers on my dominant hand. But it wasn't a big issue because I could do most things equally with my left hand. Anticlimactic, but it was useful. Lol. Edit, thanks for the rewards folks. Edit 2, spelling. Have the exact same fear and have been working on training my left hand occasionally. Am also trying to learn to echolocate in case I go blind. Honey, the neighbor's screaming and running into walls again. I always carried an extra juice box snacks and an extra set of clothes during high school because I was always worried that one of the kids in my school with diabetes might get low and need some sugar for the juice box and snacks, and I might get dirty or my clothes would get ruined. The extra clothes, well, one day the kid in my class with diabetes did need the sugar. As luck would have it, a few days later a girl in my class was having a really bad wardrobe malfunction and couldn't wait for a new shirt, so my XXL t-shirt acted as both a shirt dress for her. Edit, this blew up while I was working. Thank you everyone for the upvotes. May the world ever be in your favor, all of you. Edit, spelling grammar. I carry bird seed around with me to feed the ducks on campus because I worry about how much rice and naan the students are feeding them. One day I'm on my way onto campus and I see a lady with her toddler who's fascinated with a bird, but it keeps hopping away every time the baby toddles forward, so I stop and tell the mom that I have bird seed in my pocket if her kid wants to feed the bird. It wasn't until later that I realized that from her perspective she was in the park with her kid when a stranger approached her and announced, I have bird seed in my pocket. I've been the birdseed guy and I've also been the parent receiving birdseed. Two necessary parts of a wonderful interaction that leaves a kid happily fascinated and birds happily fed. Good job on being birdseed guy. In college on occasion upperclassmen would randomly steal the underclassmen towels from the shower stalls and then lock their room doors so they had to go to the raw bar asked. I had the idea to stash a towel in the drop ceiling tiles for just that event. Maybe a week later I became the victim of a towel snatching. However, the upperclassmen were very unhappy to see me strut out with a nice clean towel from my ceiling stash. Something similar happened to me at my sorority house. But I just showered for a really long time till they got tired of waiting. I sang and sang and sang. They were my friends and they knew I didn't mind being naked. Okay, you'll just use up all the hot water then. Great power move, honestly. The panic attack that the overthinking caused. Edit, I feel like a fraud. I haven't had a panic attack in like 3 years, although I've had a handful of baby panic attacks since then. At one point, 1 month I must have had 30 plus panic attacks. I was constantly in a panic attack depression cycle, and my brain worked so poorly that it felt like I lost a lot of my intelligence and almost all of my personality. But with therapy, lots of journaling, exercise, and especially learning to gauge how likely something is to happen when I experience a fear, and not listening to unwarranted catastrophic thinking, I've recovered a lot and my anxiety levels are much more manageable. Thank you everyone for the awards, but I feel like all these people who still experience the panic attacks deserve them. That shit sucks, big time. I carry some of just about everything in my purse. We were at a beach, during off-season, and a kid wiped out. I had everything needed to clean and bandage him up. I carried that stuff, renewing when it got old, for almost 20 years before actually needing it. Thanks for the awards. I have a similar experience. I have just about everything you could possibly need to survive in the car if it breaks down or something else happens. I was driving and an old couple was crossing a driveway headed home after a nice lunch out. The lady biffed it on the curb. She had ripped quite a bit of her skin and was bleeding all over the place. I saw them, pulled my car over and was able to hop out, clean her up, and bandage everything up. It felt really good to be prepared and help the frantic old couple. Someone stopped and helped my parents after my mom tripped and face-planted on a walk with my dad. She had bruises, a split lip, and broken glasses that cut her nose. Thank you, for stopping to help someone since I don't know who helped my parents. Oh man. That's so terrible. I'm glad someone helped her too. I carry scissors in my glove compartment. They came in handy when a kid tightened a skinny zip tie around my 9-year-old's finger at a park. Completely cut off the circulation. Also, the other kid's mom was a nurse, so that was helpful too. Carry scissors and a nurse at all times. Ah crap, I forgot to pack my nurse. They fit better in the trunk than they do the dash. So maybe not quite this, but my little sister, through a long series of events, my parents, who were not foster parents and not looking to adopt, ended up taking care of an infant, who was not at all related to us, whose mother had just died. It was only supposed to be for a few weeks until she could be moved to a more permanent placement. As soon as I found out that my parents had agreed to help watch her temporarily, I knew where this was going, and I had all the initial adoption application paperwork printed out before she ever got to our house. Needless to say, my parents were pretty surprised the day they said they were thinking of adopting her, and I handed them a folder of forms and my handwritten notes on how the process worked. For the record, she has legally been my little sister for 7 years now. As a parent, I am sure your parents were touched not only by your preparation but by the way the gesture indicated total acceptance and support for your sister becoming your sister. I think they were a bit surprised that we all accepted her so quickly. I am one of them 4, now 5 siblings. But we all love her, and honestly can't imagine how we could have ever let her go. You are awesome, but your username upsets me. Lol. Lol. It's an old joke between my other sister and I. Apparently it is a description of my personality. Also, I'm not really that awesome, my parents deserve most of the credit. As a mom, the fact that you say that means you are incredibly awesome. The fact that you had the adoption papers ready means you are amazing. Keep doing you, because you do it wonderfully. As a dad, what she said. Exactly. I carry a fire extinguisher in my auto. I witnessed a car accident where the engine caught fire. I quickly put it out before it burned the inside of the car. Everyone survived. What's a car-safe fire extinguisher that can withstand being left inside in summer heat? In concern, the compressed gas propellant might burst. They make them for cars and can survive the heat. I have this one HamaDepot.com and going on 2 years now in the green on pressure. Stored in my trunk in a car that is parked outside all the time in up to 100 F weather. Mace. A person I worked with was a registered sex offender and he had a thing for me. I told him multiple times that he made me feel uncomfortable and to stay away from me. For some reason I had nightmares about this dude. He was 6.5 feet tall and ducking hideous. Anyways, he said he was going to stop at a store that I stopped at all the time after work, and it was obvious he knew my direction when I left. I pull up to this store and Hess already there, walks up to my car and I just roll down my window and spray this dude, and he dropped a billy club out of his sleeve. Everyone always told me to stop being paranoid and stop thinking Hess going to attack me or rape me, that Hess been to jail and learned his lesson. Fuck that dude. He should never been let out of prison. For reference, I'm also a 6 foot tall dude who is always prepared for the worst.